Now if I get the light at just the right angle, I can see this entire scrape here. It starts about here and just sort of goes along to about here. And I guess it really gouged in right here where we did that little repair in yesterday's episode. I was kind of concerned there for a while because the paint was just not blending, whereas right now, where we brushed it on there, it's, well, I've got a real bright light on it, so it shows up, but I think under normal circumstances, it will not show up, and it seems to me that this is the side that is going to be, you might say, to the wall. The other side is going to be facing the public, so it's still too bad whatever happened, you know. Let's go around to the other side, and there was some places on the keel there on the side that we got to fix up. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Now this is the side that's going to be facing everybody in the display case that it's going to be in, and I pretty much decided now what kind of display case it has to be, because if there's going to be more than one ship, they're obviously going to be one on top of the other, one above the other, let's put it that way, in the same case. And so it has to be a wall case. It can't, each one can't have its own individual case. It's just not going to work out for me. Not that that couldn't happen, but it's not going to happen in this house. Now, this is our hangar that has the aircraft sticking out. So yeah, this is going to be the side that we're going to want to have on. It's more interesting, let's put it that way. This will probably also be the side where the crane has Tony's aircraft suspended from it. I don't know. Well, we'll see. So we've got a little boo-boo right here on this keel, and we've got a little scrape right here, which I'm a little bit afraid of. I don't know if we have any gray exactly like that left. I can look in here and see if I can find something. It might be, would it be this one here? That almost looks like it. I could do a little test and just to make sure. I think maybe that is it. It's called Film Gray, XF22. Anyway, let's see if we can repair this right now. I've just shaken this up again just now, and I was noticing yesterday when I was painting there on that scratch on the bow that the paint, the pigment seemed to be almost separating from the carrier or whatever you call it. And I do know that when I was using this with the airbrush, I had greatly thinned it out, probably maybe 30% thinner and 70% paint the way it was. Maybe not quite that diluted, but I know I had really thinned it out. So this is thinned out for the airbrush. But I was thinking, I wonder, when I shook it up, did I get all the pigment that would have, gone to the bottom? Did it get mixed in? And I'm pretty sure it did. I think the problem was that I can't talk and work at the same time. Okay, so I think that the problem was me. No, so I'm just going to go right to the bottom here and just see if there's anything. If there is, it'll be... No, there's no pigment on the bottom there. You'd see it sort of blobbed up on the end of the toothpick. All right. So, well, as long as I got this lid off, I may as well do it right now. But I want to talk a little bit about the horrendous job that I did yesterday. Yeah, that was, well, the proper word was just horrendous. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna switch now and put the macro lens on, and we'll just move right in here. Now, just above the keel there, it looks like there's a couple of other little places. Okay, one of them was a piece of dust. And the other one, I'm not going to touch that because I don't think I'm going to be able to make it look a whole lot better without having it look like it was painted. Okay, now just a little bit here. See, maybe if I use my finger as a steady rest, I can. Now I'm hoping when that dries, it's going to just sort of blend right in. I know I have the feeling like I want to touch that, but I think it's, like I say, it's going to make it look worse. Okay, we'll let that dry and we'll take a look at it. I'm not using my super macro here because the super macro moves in literally 5 times closer than we are right now, and consequently it makes everything look 5 times worse. Shaking, everything looks worse when you get in close. About as much time has passed right now as it took me to clean out my little brush. I'm just going to use the hair dryer on it and see if we can increase the drying just a little bit. I think that in order for this to look the same as the other paint that has been over a year old now, it's probably going to take a few days. But anyway, here we go with the dryer. Okay, probably a couple of minutes has passed here. I didn't time it, but I know you can really see that. You might call it a stain, but in a way it actually looks quite natural. If this ship was sitting at dry dock, you'd see stuff all over it. I think that looks quite normal. I'm not too upset about the fact that there's a bit of what you might call a stain, and it could well be too that after a few months, it's going to just sort of blend right in. Now, I do not like to be doing reenactments, but I'm doing a reenactment here because I was watching the end of yesterday's video, and I was just embarrassed and appalled at the terrible job I was doing painting. In fact, I was using this little brush right here, and there was a moment there, you probably caught that, where I wasn't even painting on the scratch. I was painting above the scratch, and what was happening was I was trying to look at it like this and find the scratch, and okay, now we're on it now. Okay, I just wanted you to see why it was I was shaking and trembling. I was embarrassed. Now, as for dusting this off, I haven't hooked up my air hose yet, but that's how I plan to do it. And as we go along, I will undoubtedly be finding places that I think, I should touch up there, because I will be scrutinizing every square inch of the deck and places on the superstructure. And even though this little brush is very soft, I will still have to be careful not to get too exuberant and break things off. Like, say, this little hatch cover. It's probably not glued on all too strong. Yeah, I think we're at the place now where we can actually start dusting. We're finally at that place. I can't think of anything else I can do here. We straightened our railings, painted the obvious bad spots. I think the dusting's next. I'm going to go down to the workshop and hook up the air hose. Something like this is definitely overkill. I'd end up blowing the ship right off the model table with this. Well, maybe not quite, but I know I could turn the pressure down in the workshop on the main tank. However, it's a lot better if I use this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to back the needle off, because we don't need the needle all the way out. So I'm just going to loosen this just a little and just pull it back about 1/8 of an inch. That's all we need. That way it's not right in the front here. Now, it probably wouldn't make a whole lot of difference to the way the air is going to come out, because the air comes out from around the needle, not through the hole. Okay, so I've got the regulator for this set to 20 pounds. And I think that's going to be just about right. If I find it's too much, I can turn it down. But I think that 20 pounds is going to be just about right. I'm guessing that 20 pounds is probably about 3 or 4, maybe 5 times as much as when you squeeze this. Plus it's constant, so anyway, ready for blast off. Now, I don't think I'll be brushing the entire deck. I'll brush wherever I think that the air pressure is not doing its thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bow and just work my way back till I get to the to the superstructure, and then I'll do that in sections, starting from the top down. I'm just going to do the fore section, funnel section, aft section, and maybe when we get to the, I was noticing on the top of the motor launches, you can really see the dust there. Maybe what I'll do is I will put the macro lens on, and you'll be able to see the dust being removed off of that. Now, some of what you see on the motor launches may not be dust. It could be little paint splatters. Anyway, here we go. Gotta be careful I don't catch this on anything, rip my railing off. Wouldn't that be awful? Okay, maybe I'll go this way now. Alrighty, just readjust here, and yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes. Now, I was just realizing that if I start messing around here with my compressed air, blowing off places like up here, I'm going to blow the dust off of here, and by the time I get the macro lens on, there's not going to be a whole lot for you to be able to see coming off. I don't know if you can see it at this magnification, but I see what looks like little dust particles on in that boat. So yeah, I'll put the macro lens on now, and we'll see what we can do here. We'll concentrate on this boat right here. Okay, I think we're set up here as reasonably good as we can get, and here we go. Well, I think that worked pretty good. Now, about a week ago when we were straightening out this little antenna here, I thought I had seen a lot of dust collected on this yard arm or whatever it is. And I'm not seeing it now, so I'm wondering if maybe just right now, when I was blowing the dust off of that little boat, I also got this. But anyway, just for the fun of it, we'll just blow in here. I don't know if that made any difference or not. Probably not. We couldn't see it with a macro lens before. Certainly not going to see it with a naked eye. We have gone over the entire ship now from stem to stern. And in case you're interested, I increased the air pressure to 40 pounds. There was the odd little place that I did use the little brush, like on that little boat that we just hosed off there. I used a little brush because I was seeing little micro pieces of dust on it. Well, there's no micro pieces of dust on it now. And it really worked extremely well using the compressed air. It worked a lot better than I thought it was going to. It didn't break anything off. It worked exceptionally well on the rigging. I could see little dust particles that were clinging to it, maybe static electricity, I don't know what. Well, they're pristine now. It could be that before we actually put it in the case, I might want to do it again, but the worst is done. I'm going to, take the rest of the day now, and I'm going to clean off all these individual little parts, all our little turrets and what have you. I think, how many was there, 16 or 18 altogether? Anyway, and in tomorrow's episode, we'll put them in place. And we'll see if we can get Tony's airplane to look good on one of these cranes. But that's going to have to be in tomorrow's episode. So thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.